time for them to schedule transport. So my girlfriend called and she spoke to Mr. Tucker and let him know that you guys represent me and that I'm in jail in Rutherford for a violation. And so he ended up going to court on April 10th and let the judge know I was in custody. And that's when they reset it to June 5th. Okay. Well, a week later, on April 19th, Miss Shelley Graham, for some odd reason, I don't know how she was able to do it, but she was able to be removed from my bond, and my bond was closed out, so now my bond's no good, my parents' bond. Okay? I never violated the terms of my bond condition. I didn't get any kind of new arrest or charges. The arrest was as a result of getting charged in Bedford County, so it wasn't new. It was pre-existing. So,
I understand what you're saying. Let me tell you this. We are not allowed to get involved in anything with bonding. That's between the two of you all.
Well, I understand that, okay? But you guys are my lawyers, and it was, because every time I call the court and whatever and say someone, have you talked to your lawyer? Someone's doing the same thing. Someone should have contacted my lawyer as my legal representation in Bedford County. He should have contacted my bonding agent, let them know, like, hey, he's in custody.
No, we're not allowed to talk. It's against the law for attorneys to get involved in bonding. We cannot get involved in bonding.
So you're saying it is against the law for my legal representation, my legal counsel, my attorney. It's against the law for my attorney to call Shelley Graham and say, hey, our client is in jail currently. Like he's incarcerated for violation of probation. You're saying that's against the law?
Well, we didn't know where you. I mean, how do we know that you are in jail? I mean,
my girlfriend called you guys and let you guys know.
Oh, why didn't she call your bondsman?
Because at the time she knew who my bonding agent was, and I didn't have all the information available to me in jail while I was in Bedford.
We are not in Tennessee. Attorneys are prohibited from getting in touch with bondsmen.
Okay, so
we cannot be involved in bonding at all. It's a civil contract between the two.
Okay, and in Tennessee, under TCA 40-11-411, I'm also entitled to a bond revocation hearing, which I'm entitled.
You had a bond hearing. You are entitled to a revocation hearing. When you come to court, you are. I mean, but we're not allowed to get into bonding. We don't do anything.
So you're saying it's not your guys' job to represent me, a bond revocation hearing, which my freedom is on the line. You're saying that's not your job.
I'm saying we do not get involved in bonding. We're not allowed to get involved in any of the bonding process.
So it's not. So again, it's not my attorney's job to represent me a bond revocation hearing.
I don't know if you're going to have a bond. I mean,
ma'am,
are you in custody?
No. Well, I wouldn't be calling you from my cell phone if I was. No,
I don't know what you're calling me from.
So on April 19th, the judge signed off on having Miss Shelley Graham removed from my bond. If you go on bedford.tncrtinfo.com, it shows that my bond has been closed.
Bond surrender. Yeah, the bond. I guess the judge signed the surrender. I mean, I guess you could come in and have a hearing on it, but we don't call bondsmen and tell them you're in custody. Because, one, we had no way of verifying you're in custody. I mean, I'm sure, your girlfriend was telling the truth, but we don't know that. If your girlfriend calls Mr. Tucker and says he's in jail somewhere else, I don't have no one has any reason to doubt her word, but we have no way of knowing who your bondsman was, who to call, what to do. She should have called him. The contract, the bond contract's between you and the bondsman. I mean, that's.
And it's my job as a citizen to know my rights, okay? Just because you guys are lawyers and you guys gone to school does not necessarily mean you know more than a private citizen who actually knows their rights. Now you guys might know, I don't even have adequate representation. I've not heard from Mr. Tucker at all during the last 4 or 5 months. Not a single peep from him. He's not responding to my phone calls. I need help. Hello?
Hello, we're here. Can you hear us?
Yeah, it seems like you put me on speaker now.
I did.
So did
I'm
you...
here with Kathy Hickerson and I'm Martha Alice, okay? So there's 2 of us in the room.
Okay, Miss Kathy is the one who also just hung up on me as well when I asked her to not interrupt me.
I sure did because I'm not going to be yelled at.
Ma'am, I didn't yell at you. I asked you to stop interrupting me. Because as a defendant, I'm sitting here, I could go back in jail for doing everything right. That's the whole part. I'm frustrated with you guys' office. No one contacts me. You guys have been appointed to represent me. And when Mr. Tucker was appointed, I asked him point blankly. He stood up my face and told me to shut up. And I said, you will not tell me to shut up. You want respect, you're going to give it. I asked him point blankly, can you adequately represent me? And he said yes. Well, I've yet to see it.
Well, that's between me and Mr. Tucker, Mr. Runyon.
Who's seen...
All I know is you called me and said you were angry because your bondsman revoked your bond.
No, ma'am, I never once said I was angry. I said I'm frustrated.
Okay, because your bondsman revoked your bond.
No, my bondsman didn't do it. The judge did. The judge has had it removed from my bond under Tennessee TCA 41-11-411. Okay. So you guys...
And now you're interrupting her, okay? The thing you got so frustrated at, you're doing it now. Okay. She's going to go ahead and explain to you what she was saying before. Are you there, Mr. Ronan?
I'm here. I just don't want to interrupt you because I don't want to be hung up on again.
All right. Here's the thing. It appears to me that when your bondsman filed a surrender, you were in jail in Rutherford County. It appears that, according to you, your girlfriend called Mr. Tucker and said, my boyfriend's in jail in Rutherford County. He's not going to be here. That's at that point, that's all we can do. I would say Mr. Tucker probably got you a continuance and probably told them where you were because you had already bonded out on this. So you were not given a failure to appear. That's the extent of all we can do. The bonding is a whole separate thing. That's between you and the bondsman. I don't know what... I mean, Mr. Tucker kept you from getting a failure to appear. That's a whole other charge. But we don't get involved in the bonding business. We're not allowed to get involved in bonding. We can't secure bonds for clients. We will get in a lot of trouble if we secure bonds for clients. We can't do that.
Okay, so why is it that you guys say you can't do that, but you guys are the same ones who can turn around and file a motion for bond reduction? You guys can file a motion for consideration of an OR bond, but yet you guys are saying you can't do anything with bonds. And don't tell me you guys can't do that, because just 3 weeks ago, I had a lawyer, public defender, I didn't know was even appointed to represent me in Rutherford County. He fought for me to get an OR bond in Rutherford County. So don't...
But we might be able to do that, but Mr. Rennie, you haven't been back to court since then. So we haven't seen you. You haven't been to court. So how do we, if you were there, we could do something. The last time we had you on a court date, you were in jail in Rutherford County. James got it continued to another day, which I believe you said June
5th. For June 5th.
Yeah, June 5th. So when he sees you on June 5th, he probably will be able to do something.
But ma'am, he can't. Ma'am, he can't, because unless the prosecutor is willing to waive the timely file of motion of the notice, they are required at least 10 days notice, I believe, for any kind of bond reduction or bond motion. They're required 10 days notice. So,
Mr. Ryan, we do this day in, day out, every day. I mean, we're very familiar with the rules. And we do these. If you were in jail somewhere, if I were you, and I come and took a fifth, I would bring some sort of proof of where I was on my last court date. Like I said, James did what he could. He kept you from getting a failure to appear. I see a notation in your file that
unfortunate failure to appear under Tennessee statute can only be given if the failure was within the person's control. If it's beyond the person's control, such as them being in a hospital bed, in a casket, or in jail, then failure to appear cannot be issued. And I've got proof that was the case. So you just said a little bit ago, I quote, "We have no way to verify if you're in jail or not." So you're saying that Mr. Tucker went in front of that judge and said, "Your Honor, he's in jail." Okay, with no way of verifying it. At that point, Mr. Tucker could have put himself under perjury. Okay, because when you tell a judge something, that is, you're declaring that under penalty of perjury. So you're saying, so you're saying Mr. Tucker took the risk of committing perjury without ever verifying the information. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that. Mr. Onion, I believe that this has just evolved into something that's not going to work. When you come back to court in June, we'll talk to the judge about it, because we're not getting anywhere with this.
But ma'am, it's being hypocritical. You just told me not to. I've got my phone calls recorded 2 minutes ago that Mr. Tucker, we have no way of verifying if you're actually in jail or not. But you're saying that Mr. Tucker went in front of the judge, told him I was in jail without ever verifying the information, so he potentially committed perjury. That's what you're saying he did. No lawyer would do that. No lawyer would not do their due diligence. That's what I'm trying to say. You guys had a way to verify.
We're not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to play this.
Because you guys finally have a client who knows the law, who knows their rights. You guys have a client, and you're not going to walk all over me. I want adequate representation. My freedom is online. I'm not going to expect nothing less. I'm only asking you to do your job. It's not hard. Do your job.
We're not going to be able to talk to you anymore. Goodbye.
Yep.